Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone that watched my previous video, to everyone that liked it and was able to be encouraged and motivated that it is very much possible to get into this degree. I'm so glad that I was able to put across that message. So talking about this degree, I may have been very excited to talk about it and how I got in and how exciting that was, but I just want to talk about the traumas that I have been facing so far in this degree, things that almost took me out, almost killed my passion, and almost made me feel like, you know what, I'm done. Medicine, you want to kill me and I won't let you. But you know what, I'm still here, I'm still breathing, I'm still alive, so it has not killed me yet, and hopefully it won't. So I want to touch base with first year because I don't really remember much from first year, but I want to get into the nitty-gritty when I talk about second year, because second year, my baby, I wouldn't recommend that year to anyone. So let's start with first year. So in first year, I was doing chemistry, physics, the modules that I was doing, chemistry, physics, biology, and some first year modules. We had your philosophy, your sociology, and yeah, modules like that. So the major ones were chemistry, physics, and biology. Now it was still during COVID. This is last year, 2022. It was still COVID, so we were still wearing masks, and so everything was online except the tests, the semester tests and the exams. So sharp. So first semester at the University of Pretoria, it is at the Hatfield campus, the main campus, before we can move to the Prince of campus, which is the medical campus. So then we were doing chemistry, physics, and biology. Let me just say, physics was okay, biology was okay. What I did not expect is for chemistry to throw hands, because from the extended program, I was a chemistry genius. In my head, if medicine didn't work out, I was gonna be a chemist, if that's a thing. I was so good in chemistry in the extended program that I felt like you can't tell me anything about chemistry. Until I got to medicine. Until I got to medicine. So we wrote our first test. Now I'm mentioning details that I remember. We wrote our first test, and when we wrote our first test, I was still hyped, you know? I was still hyped. I was still the chemistry genius. We wrote our first test, and then the marks came out. It was a pass. So it was like, cool. And then, okay, we go through it. Now, the thing is, with medicine, remember, I was from the extended program where everything was like spoon-fed. Basically, everything was spoon-fed. Yes, I had to put in some work for myself, but we had tutors, we had lecturers who actually cared about us. I'm not saying anything bad about the lecturers at medicine, but the lecturers were very quickly, it's very fast-paced. The workload, Leona, it's like a lot. So like everything was just like, okay, the bus is moving, where are we going? So second test comes, and I was studying for the second test at Marinsky Library. You will understand later why I am mentioning this specific library. Marinsky Library, studied for my second test, wrote the second test, marks come out, fail. I think that is the lowest mark that I've ever gotten in varsity so far. I don't want to mention it. Something is saying I won't. I failed, and I was devastated. I was like, what? Okay. And then after the second test, now because Marinsky showed me flames, I'm like, I'm not going to the library anymore, because I think it was the first time that I ever went to the library and I said, okay, I'm going to study at the library. So I dumped Marinsky. Then I studied for my exam in the comfortability of my own room. Studied for my exam, and when I was writing the exam, it was very you can see, guys, you can just see when you're going down, like you can feel it in your bones. So because we were wearing masks that time, when I was going home after the test, my tears were dripping under that mask. I was crying. I was like, what was that? What was that? What was that? I got to my room and I cried even more. I was just crying, and I remember calling my mother because I felt like if I don't call this woman, like I'm going to cry forever. So I have to call her so she can calm me down and like tell me, go to no, my baby, it's okay. So I called my mom and she calmed me down. It's like, no, it's okay. Like, why are you stressing about an exam that you just wrote? You don't even know the outcome. And then the results came out, and luckily I passed chemistry. So chemistry was the highlight of my first year. I felt like it wanted to kill me. I mean, like, I know that it wanted to kill me. It wanted to remove me from this degree, but I came out stronger. Second semester, it was okay. First year, second semester was like a breeze, if I do say so myself. Then we enter into second year. So maybe because I was like, if I was able to get through first year, then you can't tell me nothing. In December of first year, I was preparing for my second year. I bought notes, like I was ready, In December, I bought notes, I studied. I was like, you know what? We are getting into second year with a bang. I had watched and listened to previous years who were complaining about second year. They were like, oh, second year, guys. And I was like, you know what? Get Nadimpo. My name is Precious Dimpo. Like, come on. How stupid to not take heed of other people's warnings. So we got to second year. As medical students, we open early in the year. So January, I don't know what was the date, but like maybe second week of January, we were at school. So Jan, we get there, and then the first day, I thought we were gonna have like orientation week, like welcome guys, whatever. They just did the welcome, hello, hi, you made it, let's go. The teacher started teaching, the lecturer started lecturing, and because it was metabolism, so I was like, it's cool, like it's not yet that bumpy. The road was smooth. No potholes, no anything. The road was smooth. So it was metabolism, it was your glycolysis, the Krebs cycle, and then they incorporated new metabolic pathways, your pentose phosphate pathways. So it was like, okay, I get it. So first week and second week's work was like cool. They incorporated anatomy into it, your histology. So it was pretty cool. Then we wrote our first test on the 2 weeks work. Wrote our first test, and the first test was like fine, right? We got our marks and I had passed. I was happy. So I was like, Aibo, which second year were these people talking about? Because I roll. Aibo. Then we got to the third week. Third week, we were doing physiology. So you have your cardiac physiology. Basically, the physiology is like the homeostasis of the body, how the body maintains a constant environment. So if your blood pressure is going up, how does the body combat that to take the blood pressure down to like the optimum level or whatever. So it was that if like your insulin is high, if your glucose is high, how does insulin work to take it down, stuff like that. So physiology, we had your cardiac physiology, your kidney physiology, your thyroid. You have your thyroid. They teach you a lot of things, right? And you also have the anatomy, and you also have the pharmacology, so the medicines that you must use. Guys. So physiology comes, and then they start teaching us, and then I'm like, okay, now the road is getting a little bit bumpy. You know what I'm saying? So with physiology, I was attending lectures. I think I attended lectures for the first week, and then I just felt like there is no use in going to school, because I would prepare for like maybe you have 3 lectures in a day. I would prepare for like the 2 lectures, and then once I go to the 3rd lecture, I am so confused on what's going on. So I just felt like I should just stay home and self-study so that I can get a lot of work done. Because when I go to school, it is like the whole day. I start at 8, probably gonna end at 3. When I go home, I have to nap. Guys, a nap is compulsory. Like, I don't play with my naps. I have to nap. I have to go to the gym. I have to cook. Like, you see, it was a lot, and already I'm tired. I have to go through the work that we were doing. I have to prepare for the next day's work. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to school anymore. I will beg a Zella here on my own, you know? I start studying on my own, and then I start going to the library for cross-nighting. I think I have vlogs on the cross-nighting. Start cross-nighting. We go to the library at 7 o'clock p.m. We come back 6 a.m. in the morning. It was, you know, we were fighting for this degree. If I can say I fought for this degree, it would be this year. We were fighting, like fighting tooth and nail. So sharp. So we write the second test was on the 3rd week and the fourth week's work. We write the test, and then it's just like, what was that? Because mind you, I know that I studied. I know that I know my work. I knew the kidney at the back of my hand. I knew the nephron. Like, I knew everything that you could ask me. But the way in which they were asking the questions, it was like, what do you want from me? So that test, I failed. I don't even want to say how much I got, but I failed. So I was like, yo, what is going on? So then the physiology department, with all of that going on, they told us that we won't be getting our papers, so we are not allowed to see our papers, and also they will not be giving us a memo. So it was like, what do you mean? Where is the ethicality in that? Like, where is ethics? I don't think it's ethical. I don't think it's legal. But we were like, hey man, because the class representatives, like, we raised this issue. It went up there, and up there they said no. So it was like, okay, like, I'm not saying give me the memo, but just show me my paper, just so I can see where I went wrong and where I can correct myself for the next time that I write. Test 2 was held, and then Ubuntu still had to prepare for the 3rd test and the block test. The 3rd test and the block test, there was 1 day apart between them. So we were writing the 3rd test on a Monday and the block test on the Wednesday. The block test is like everything. So it was like, and personally, I was going through a lot that time. There was a funeral at home of an immediate family member. So it was not your distant funerals that you're like, okay, it's fine if I don't attend. It is like immediate, and I couldn't attend the funeral. Like, when I found out, I could only grieve and mourn it by that time, but I had to put myself together and continue studying. And that is what I fear most about this field, is that I feel like it is going to put me in a position where I won't be able to go through anything personally, or I won't be able to get sick. I won't be able to, like, I have to always be available when it wants me to be available, because we don't have sick tests. So I cannot miss a test and say I'll just write a sick test. We don't have sick tests. Once you miss a test, you forfeit the mark. So prepared for test 3. I didn't even know how I was preparing, but I was not going to the library anymore. Merensky, guys. Merensky Library in Hatfield campus. I have beef with you. I'm never studying in that library ever again. I failed twice. So it cannot be my fault. It's the library's fault. So I stopped studying at Merensky, and then I studied in the comfortability of my room. Wrote test 3, still failed, but the mark was higher than test 2. A win is a win. It is a lose, but a win is a win. At least there was improvement, guys. So then we wrote the block test. The block test, I passed. I don't know how. I passed being a 50. 100% on the dot. It's Punyuga Bampete kind of vibes. But guys, I never thought I'd see the day or a time in my life where I'm fighting for a 50. But I was like, it's okay. I don't have to get AMA 80 and pass with distinction. It's fine if it just pass. It's not gonna make you a bad doctor. So then I was going to write the exam. But before I talk about the exam, I want to talk about, after the physiology block, we were doing anatomy. Anatomy, it was your cutting of cadavers. We learned the whole human body. We do the brain, we do the head and the neck, we do your upper limb, which is your arms, your back, we do thorax, we do abdomen, we do pelvis, we do everything, right? We learn every artery, we learn every vein, not everything, I don't think they teach us everything, but every nerve. So we got into anatomy and I was quite excited for anatomy. I was like, come on, we're going to be cutting into dead human bodies. I know that is cringe, but I was like, guys, patient get patient. It's fun, it's job. So I was like, so we started with anatomy, and the first section that we started with was upper limb and back. And mind you, we were not supposed to start with that section. We only started with that section because the lecturer was leaving. So she had to teach us kapila and leave. Hi, guys, that is the worst mistake, to make us start with that section, because it was like, how do you make us start with the most difficult section? How do you introduce us to a block at the most difficult section? So, when I was studying, and we had tests, like after every section, we had a test on that section. So when I was studying, I didn't buy a textbook. I was like, I didn't have a textbook for physiology, and so let's get into this. So I was studying with animated images from, what's this textbook called? It's not Knitters. Is it Grey's Anatomy? Yes, Grey's Anatomy. I was studying animated pictures. With animated pictures, when it shows you the anatomy, it shows you a vein that is blue, an artery that is red, and a nerve that is yellow. We got to the test. In the test, they show you this part of the arm. And then they're like, identify the nerve. Everything is white. Everything is white. The artery and the nerve look the same. At least the vein, you can see that it has some redness in it. But everything is the same here. They're like, what nerve is this? Guys, I failed the first test. And I was like, okay. So then, the sections that I liked in anatomy was lower limb, number 1. That was the most fun section for me. Lower limb, neuroanatomy, where it's the brain. Pelvis and perineum. Thorax, which is the heart and the lungs. Thorax, pelvis and perineum. I wouldn't say I like it. I'm just putting it on the list. Hated head and neck. I hated head and neck. I hated head and neck with a passion. Hated it. What else? What else was there? Abdomen. Abdomen was fine. Yeah. So I think with anatomy, I passed all the other sections, but with anatomy, I think I just had to figure out how they ask the questions, and like different lecturers ask different types of questions. So one lecturer can ask you, identify the muscle, identify what is this, and you can get it. But another lecturer will tell you that identify this nerve, and they will tell you explain the course of this nerve. So how the course moves it comes from C6, moves to the back, pierces what goes under the bone. So other lecturers will ask questions like that. So I think I had to figure out that part. So I passed my anatomy, I passed the block test, I passed my other test except upper limb and back. So I had to write the exam as well. So now I had the physiology exam and the anatomy exam. And I think they also had a day apart, I don't remember. But I remember studying for physiology under so much stress because I was like, what do I tackle first? Anatomy or physiology? Anatomy or physiology? And it was like, so what happens is that we write block tests after every block, and then if you promote, meaning that you get 65% or more, then you don't have to write the exam. So because I was failing, I had to write the exams. So this system is like, it was valid now, previous years, but it has been cancelled, right? So next year, wonke umuntu ubhale exam, whether uyisicenxe uthole 8, sonke sibhale exam. So I had 2 exams, prepared for physiology, even though I don't know how I tackled everything, guys. I just know that I did because I had to just survive. Remember, just survive. Then wrote physiology and then wrote anatomy. When I was studying anatomy, I can remember that I skipped head and neck, didn't study the whole section, just left it out because I was like, I cannot. So that lecturer will literally take out this part of the face and then tell you to identify some nerve or some artery, and then I'm like, I don't know. So then wrote my anatomy, wrote my physiology, and then that was the end of the first semester. So now I had to wait for my marks. When I was waiting for my marks, I remember just like, I was just sad every time. I was like, oh guys, I don't want to fail. Like I was depressed. I was so depressed. I was like, second year, especially first semester, it's a canon event. It ought to mold you. So waited for my results, and in the waiting, I was just like so stressed, and like I was trying so much to trust in the Lord and just like put my faith in Him, because that was every time I would pray, God would just say, trust in me, and I was like, oh God, wait, I'm trusting in you, yes, but I'm thinking of all those questions that some of them I didn't answer, some of them are very difficult. It's like, trust in me. I'm like, ooh, the human mind cannot really comprehend that. Put your trust in God and He will see you through. But in my head it was just like, So I got my marks and I passed. Guys, I passed, and I was like, I think I was able to breathe and be like, the roller coaster is done now. So I can't really say anything bad about second semester. I was warned, previous years warned me about microbiology, but it was fine. I failed the first, guys, I always fail first test because I don't know. I failed my first test, microbiology, and it was only because I was going through things personally. Like, guys, you can never mix medicine and other things, because hey, if you know, you know. So yeah, I can't really fault second semester because it was like, it was a breeze. Second semester was a breeze. Second semester was just like, ooh, just guys, second year medicine, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but you just have to go through it. And to all the first years that passed, I don't know, I don't want to scare anyone, but like, my advice is just survive. Just survive. Like, I think medicine, the content and the workload can put you in a position where you feel like you're not made for this, and the passion can like literally die. But I think I'm able to be motivated by the small blocks that we do in between the blocks, like small blocks where we do CPR, where we practice drawing blood, where we practice with stethoscopes. I think that helps me. It just revives my passion and like, this is what I want to do one day. Yes, I'm going through this physiology and I have to understand it, but the end goal is becoming a doctor. And I think all the good doctors have gone through this, and my motto in life is that if someone else was able to do it, I can also do it. So I think just pushing through that pain and like thinking of the end goal, one day I'm gonna become a doctor. And I had I had a quote that I put on my pin board during the year, and it said that of course it's going to be hard, because if it wasn't hard then everyone would do it. And like, I was like, that motivated me. I also put scriptures on my pin board that can just like push me through everything. So one scripture that got me through this year was, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, in all of your ways, acknowledge him and he will direct your path. So including God in everything can really put you in a place where you feel peace. Like even in failure, you just like feel peace. Like the scripture was, therefore I tell you that whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. And also the scripture, I think it's Joshua 1, where it says, be of good courage, do not fear, do not be dismayed. The Lord your God is with you wherever you go. That was also one scripture that I remember when I was writing physiology, the exam, I recorded myself on my phone, and on the way to the exam, that is what I was listening to. Those three scriptures, I was listening to them, so I think that kind of helped. That helped, not kind of, that helped. So yeah, guys, second year was truly a roller coaster. It was, I think it made me, and I don't know, man, I can't really say what I would do going forward, how I would improve. I'm just going to come and I'm just going to take everything as it comes, But yeah.